Hey guys, welcome back. Let me make sure, yes, the microphones are working. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the vlog. Today's a little a fun one. We're in the house, and today we've got Chief Dove from Thunderhawk Lures right directly in between. If you could only see the shit that's going on right now in this area, right in here. Chief Dove from Thunderhawk Lures is here, and we're gonna talk about Thunderhawk. We're gonna talk about the new lures, the lures you've got, everything, right?
Right. Whatever you want to talk about.
First off, thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
This has been I don't know about you, this has been a long week for me.
It's been a very long week for me as well.
That sun yesterday kind of took a lot more out of me than I would have imagined.
I am not complaining being from up north, that's for sure.
Tell me a little bit about yourself first.
My name is Chief Mike Dove. I'm from Brownsburg, Indiana. I'm a retired chief of police and Navy veteran as well. I've been a lifelong fisherman. In 2017, I decided to retire as chief of police in Brownsburg. I want to pursue a passion in the fishing industry, not so much just tournament fishing, but just being in the fishing industry. Yeah. I have a hero getaway program in northern Minnesota I'm involved in. I take policemen and firemen and veterans out on all expense paid trip up to Minnesota, the Garrison's Resort. So I got involved in the fishing industry and hard and heavy in 2017 and retired and just chasing it right now.
First of all, thank you for your service.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
That is something that I don't think we, especially these days, I don't think we give enough police officers and first responders enough respect that they deserve for keeping us safe and help, and in most cases healthy.
Right.
And
thanks.
Not healthy.
Well, I'm not a hero, but I'm telling you, I've been around a bunch of them in that field.
Yeah. Okay, tell me a little about Thunderhawk Lures. Tell me how you guys started it. When did you guys start it? And then we'll move on, because really what we have here at the end, you're going to see we have an absolutely ridiculous code that if you wanted one of the Swimbaits or the glide baits, we're going to put a code up for the goofers, as I call them, even though they don't know that. I call them the Get Your Fish Honors, the goofers, that you will be able to save, you'll have a great discount code that you could buy that Cha-Cha glide bait, which is ridiculous as is at the prices, but there's a lot of good things. So tell me first off about Thunderhawk Lures, as I look over here for a second.
Thunderhawk Lures is located in Searcy, Arkansas. That's where our warehouse is at and our headquarters are at. It's run by Hawk himself.
Yeah.
He lives in China. However, he's back and forth. It is a American-based company.
Yeah.
Hawk came to me. He's been doing this for a while now, a few years now. But he's been manufacturing, OEM, if you will, for over 20 companies for the last 15 years. So in that time, he's built up a ton of knowledge and resources how to make lures the right way.
Yeah.
Everything from how do you make the lure itself, the chambers, the hooks, we got some of the best painters around. A lot of companies come to us to paint their lures. So Hawk came to me a couple years ago through a mutual friend and says, hey, you want to help me out, get the word out about Thunderhawk across the country. And he allowed me to design a couple lures too. And we don't take anything for granted at Thunderhawk. That's what I'm most proud of, is since I've been involved in him the short time, he listens to everything I give him, not just what fishermen want. That's the hardest thing in the industry, but what the fish want.
Yeah.
And what works. Because you can design something on a piece of paper, but until you put it in the water, you have no idea what it'll do.
Yeah.
And that's just my layman's terms, the way I put it. But I've learned from some good people and some great lure builders how things work. And so I went to Hawk and I said, hey, let's do some of this or that. Then we got Jerry and Rago involved. So now we're just really going to push. This is going to be the year of Thunderhawk, trust me.
Tell me a little bit about the introduction of getting Jerry involved. If you don't know about Jerry, Jerry's a California lure designer that's world renowned for making some of the best baits out there.
Best big bait man.
Yes.
Guy. He's made a lot of baits over the years that sell, custom one-off type things that catch big fish targeted for that California area,
Yeah.
And it translates to some smaller stuff, and also the ideas behind it, what triggers a fish to bite, and different things. Jerry and Hawk met each other a while back and started collaborating a little bit. Then when I was involved, I told Hawk, I said, just cut him loose.
Yeah.
Cut him loose and let him
do
design
his thing.
stuff. And this is a collaboration. He still sells his stuff one at a time, But to be able to mass produce what he wants to do, he just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So he came to us, and they discussed some things, and he's making some great stuff, as you'll see, in collaboration with Thunderhawk. Some of the stuff he makes is for the price, and that's one thing I want to stress about Thunderhawk. Hawk is a big advocate of making fishing affordable, but fishing a good product at an affordable price. You'll see some of the prices that in the industry right now. I'll be honest with you, just my opinion, that I think they're way overpriced for what they are. Way overpriced.
Yes, there's some lures that have come out recently. I went on I was looking at stuff to do closer looks just this week, and I went on to do my normal how I get them, and looked at a couple of them. And I was like, they want $129 for this lure, and that's not a joke. There were 3 sizes. It was 129, 149, 169, and I thought to myself, who in their right mind? First off, and if you can afford it, good for you.
Well, I'm not against anybody paying it.
Yeah,
it's kind of like
I got a lure right here, $129.99.
Yeah, supply and demand issue. If you got to spend it, I guess. But if you want the industry, all you hear about anymore is expanding fishing. And we've seen because of COVID too, a lot more people are out fishing. But I'm telling you, the studies and the research that we've done, especially since COVID hit, it's not the higher end stuff. It's the new fishermen that don't want to go out and spend $1,000 to go fishing.
Well, the goal with all these new people that have come into fishing since COVID started is it's great that they've come in to fish. I love it because most fishing sales and fishing licenses are up like 150+% in a lot of places. But we have to figure a way to keep those anglers fishing, and that's where the big companies and everybody needs to do their best to keep them engaged into what we're doing. Either it's tournament fishing, or either it's just regular recreational fishing, bank fishing, boat fishing, all that stuff. That's where we need to put more preference. We need to talk to them and teach them how to fish better. But at the same time, we need to make sure that they're going to teach their kids how to fish.
Well, that's exactly. I think you're spot on with that. But exactly what you saying on if not all of your videos, take a kid fishing.
Yeah,
that is so important to what I see. I'm getting a little older now, and I started fishing when I was real young in Minneapolis area when I lived up there as a kid, and I'm mentoring a couple other kids. But you don't have to be what people don't realize. I think the fishing industry. Now I tournament fish all over the place, and I love to be involved in it. But what people don't realize, they get too wrapped up in the tournament mentality, as I call it. The purity of fish, as my friend Larry Dahlberg calls it. There's organic and there's synthetic. Larry's never fished a tournament, but he's one of the best lure builders and fishermen that I know of. And he's fished 87 countries.
Oh yeah.
And he told me a few years back, we were fishing the St. Croix River, and with the whopper plopper, as a matter of fact. And he told me this is authentic stuff that we're doing in the water.
Yeah.
It's organic.
Yeah.
And I paid it, and it was kind of weird when he sat down and told me that philosophy that he has. I noticed myself paying more attention to what I was doing out in the water.
We had Larry on the show years ago. Great interview. Great guy. Can't say anything more about him. I saw him at ICAST a couple years ago, and we talked for a little bit, just briefly. And I know he's just one of the good guys in the industry. It's good to see that. Getting back to Jerry, how does the collaboration work with Jerry? Did Jerry go, I have this idea, and Hawk, you guys got to do this, or is there how does it work?
I think there's a mutual respect between Thunderhawk and Jerry himself, and back and forth. And any good partnership, it takes cooperation and thought between the two of you, and respecting each other's plans and ideas, and then also compromise on what you actually want to do. Saying, okay, we can do this, we can do that, but we don't want to compromise the product. That's the end thing.
Yeah.
Everybody says they have the latest and greatest. Everybody.
Yeah.
But until you put it in the water and it actually catches a fish, that's where the test comes in.
Yeah.
And I think the relationship that Hawk has with Jerry, he listens to everything Jerry has to say.
That's cool.
What fish want. And then, the bottom line, let's be honest though, but some of the best lures I've ever seen never sell in the last a year or two, because everybody keeps top secret tournament, top secret, I want to cuss, but it's top secret stuff. It's shit, tournament shit that it's that's the problem with manufacturing sometimes. You spend a lot of money in research and development and getting the lures out and the marketing, and all of a sudden they don't go anywhere, but they're a great lure.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
There's also a lot of great lures that look fantastic that just don't catch anything.
There's a lot of that.
And there's a lot of it, and I catch grief about it on the closer looks. Not really catch grief, but people a lot of times say, hey, that looks good, and it's probably going to catch me more before it catches a fish.
Well,
and that's the truth.
And I say that all the time. It catches fishermen.
Yeah.
And that's marketing, if you will.
Yeah.
It catches fishermen, but you got to weigh out both.
Yeah.
The bottom line, no matter what they say, there's not a lure manufacturer that gets in the business to lose money.
Yeah.
And that's, you gotta sell them, but at the same time, you gotta have some ethics involved too.
Yeah.
And say this actually catches fish.
Yeah.
Not just fishermen.
So today we're going to talk about a bunch of lures. You brought a bunch in. I showed one that I joked about that was $129. It is not that price. It isn't even.
I think our most expensive lure we have is $16. We're talking about glide baits.
Yes.
So.
And that if we can start at that glide bait,
Yeah.
you were throwing now to keep it real. I call you Mike. Sorry,
that's fine.
Mike and I have been fishing the last 2 days. We've been pounding the Harris chain. We were pounding the. Well, we did. Actually, the first day wasn't really as much fishing as we.
Well, full disclosure too. I took my boat out of the garage in snow and ice. Come down Arkansas first to hit headquarters, then went to Alabama, and then I came straight to here. And the weather and the beautiful landscape stuff. I was in awe the first day, and
you didn't stop talking about the
birds,
backgrounds and everything. It was like, okay, we got to fish, dude. And we didn't really, and to keep it real, we didn't really fish very hard the first day.
No,
we went
not
to
at
one
all.
spot, and then we.
I'm
went
looking
over.
for alligators.
You did. We didn't. Did we see?
No, I didn't see an alligator, but I was just amazed at the beauty and some of the landscape down there.
Yeah.
Like I said, I grew up in Minneapolis, live in Indianapolis now, or actually Brownsburg. And there's several feet of ice on the ground. I call my buddy Minnesota. It's 20 below wind chill.
You were sending in pictures of us in t-shirts.
He's not appreciating it very much.
That's all right. But we had a colder day on Monday, and yesterday it got better. We had Scott Siller on the boat with us, and Scott pointed us, not really pointed us in the right direction. He was there to so I could film more stuff with him and all sorts of stuff.
Oh, and again, I want to keep it organic, and I had really enjoyed spending time in the boat with him, even though there was not a lot of fish catches going on.
Yeah.
Because Scott and I shared two passions in life.
Yes.
We're both.
Yeah, you're both police officers, which I thought I thought you guys would
from the
mesh.
Midwest.
Yes. And that also you both love fishing.
Both love fishing and try to weigh the two, and then finally just decide to retire to go. I have a saying that I'm not the original creator of this saying, but I always say that if you love what you're doing, you'll never, and at work, you'll never work another day in your life.
Yeah. A lot of comments. Hey guys, I'd love to say I can see the comments as they're going, and I'll read them, Craig and Jay and everybody. But it's really it's hard for me, to be honest. But let me just say, there's a bunch of people watching. Jeff and
Awesome.
Craig and Butch and Boudreaux and Les. Good morning, guys. Jason, Jay, everybody. I'll try to go through the comments as if I can. It's a little awkward for me to turn my face like this and look at this monitor and still know that I'm talking to this camera. So I apologize if I can't get to them right away. We started off by talking about the glide bait. You were throwing that thing nonstop. You taught me something yesterday I didn't know about glide baits. I hope you didn't want to water, because now I have water.
Kind of a tease.
Yeah. I had always thought that glide baits, you needed to twitch your rod to make them work. That is not the case, is it?
No, and you can create a lot of different actions on the glide by just manipulating just to retrieve. But a good glide bait might, and I've learned this recently. Since we came out and working with Jerry, I learned a lot about how glide baits work, and I love them. And a lot of it, if you do it right, the action is right there in the bait. The triggering mechanisms that spark fish to bite that thing and try to kill it.
Show everybody the glide bait, because if you haven't seen, I did a closer look of the glide bait. That one doesn't have hooks, thank God.
Yeah, I took the hooks out.
Good idea. That one is what color is that one?
That's our silver side.
Now, how many colors do they come in? 6 or 8 colors?
Oh, we got more than that now.
Oh, you do?
We've got. Oh Lord, I've lost track. To be honest with you,
There's a lot.
There's a bunch.
The key to this glide bait is that you can twitch your rod and give it a really hard twitch, and it will do a 180 on you. Or all you got to do is reel it in and then just change the speed of your retrieval, as you just said.
Well, not just say that. I noticed reason I want to throw it yesterday too. I wanted to throw it in the shallow water that we're fishing on this lake. This lake fish is real shallow, as you know, and I wanted to throw it in amongst the weeds and see how it reacts in that murky water. The water temperature, I think yesterday was 62, 63. Yeah. I just wanted to see how different. Again, if you build a bait just for outside and you don't put it in the water, don't really know, And I wanted to see the makeup of the water down there, how this thing reacted, and boy, I found some neat stuff. I'm telling you, by the time I leave the end of this week, I'm going to have me a hog on one of these.
So the other killer thing about that lure is $16.99.
$15.99.
$15.99. Excuse me, $15.99. If you haven't tried a glide bait, this is a glide bait you need to get your hands on. I'm not joking. It's ridiculous.
We have 2 versions: the swimmer and then the glide bait. They're both basically the same thing. Both weigh 1.5 ounces. They just have a little different action. The Cha-Cha Glide, Jerry designed the tail on it, and it really changed the action of this thing. I was trying it yesterday, to be honest with you. I was just not trying to manipulate, because if you throw in these things like an umbrella rig all day long, you're going to wear yourself out.
Oh, yeah.
So try not to overwork the bait, especially in the spring, and for me, it's winter time.
Yeah.
But I noticed yesterday in this water around here, I just retrieve real fast and stop. When I just stopped it, and I didn't even manipulate my rod tip, it would turn on itself, just stopping it.
Yeah.
I can just imagine. Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah, that's a big catch. That's a big fish catching lure for sure. Now, like I said, we're gonna have a code at the end. The code is gonna give you that lure is gonna even be ridiculously priced. I can't even do the math in my head, to be honest.
Well, then, I want to say that the reason we've not given out a code like that before, other than pro staff.
Yeah.
And it's because the cooperation and what you've done for us.
Oh, and I appreciate
that. And I think you have something here that's going to really do well. I appreciate your professionalism, and so does Hawk, and that's what our discussion was, even to make a trip down here.
Yeah, it was. To be honest, I did a review of the burner brim.
The burner brim, yeah.
And didn't hear. I didn't. And then I got an email, and to be honest, I questioned the validity of the email. Yeah. And I mean, no disrespect to Hawk.
No worries.
I mean, no I get about 70 of those emails every week.
And I want to talk about that later. Is the whole China thing going on right now?
Yeah.
I'd really like to talk about that and straighten some thought process out about the whole relationship with China manufacturing.
Yeah, we will. And so when I got that, then I went on your Facebook page and say, hey, I'm not sure this is the person who says he is. And I just want to tell you that there might be somebody using your name to try to to do something. So I was like, and then we got to get a hold of you. And then of course I was like, oh God, I feel like a real asshole.
No, anymore. You got to be careful.
It was just me. Like I said, we get a lot of emails every day from people. Oh yeah, Steve, we'll do this and this. Oh yeah. And it's all somebody wants.
No, and that's why I talk about the professionalism, not to interrupt, the professionalism, authenticity, excuse me, it's early, of what you're doing. Is you did the video and review of the burner brim
months ago,
not prodded, not poked, and we didn't even send you that thing.
Yeah,
and that's why I got a hold of you and said, I had to make sure with all our people, did anybody send this guy? They got him doing? What are they? Nope, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
so that's what really triggered to getting with you and working out some ideas and stuff and coming down here.
Yeah,
just because we appreciate it, and that's the authenticity I think this industry needs more, and especially podcasts that claim they're experts.
Yes.
And
well, you got to see me fish. I'm not a horrible fisherman.
No, not by any means. That's what I'm saying. It's not just.
I do think I caught the biggest fish yesterday.
Yes, you did, and
I don't want to brag or anything.
We'll go out again. We'll go out again. Again, I was like, hunting alligators.
Yeah. Poor Scott. We put Scott in the back of the boat.
I felt bad about that
I
after a
did
while.
feel bad about that too. I thought this is the first time in all the time I've been fishing, I'm in the middle instead of being in the back. I'm like, oh, he had to fish everything I'd already fished.
And I fished. I mean, he got third dibs.
I know.
I hate that, but you know,
But he's a great dude.
he's a great guy. I mean, I really.
How good is that guy fishing?
I think we'll be okay.
That guy can flat out fish. Okay, so we talked about the Cha Glide.
Yes, sir.
It's $15.99 on the thing. You want to know what? I'm going to do it right now.
Just give it to him right
Hold on.
now.
I'm going to give it to him right now.
Now, mind you, everybody watching, we only have certain things on the website right now, but we're going to be adding to that very soon.
There it is. Get your fish on 30 is going to save you 30% off your lures. 30%. So there it is. The code is right there. Get your fish on 30. If you've wanted to have, get a glide bait. So you're going to save $3 or $4 on that glide bait.
Yeah, we got jerk baits. We got
we have all sorts of stuff. So we talked about that. Let's talk about the lure that we caught all of the fish on yesterday.
It's the new one.
The new one. Now, this isn't on the website yet. It's going to be on here soon.
I talked to Hawk last night on the phone. Probably by March 1.
Okay.
We're targeting. It's the new Sergeant Lipless Crankbait.
That is the new. Put that close to the there. There you go. Yes. This is a lipless crankbait that is a lot. It's hard to change the mousetrap. However, what you guys have done is you've done something completely different that I don't think people are going to be ready for. How many colors does a Sergeant come in?
We have 12 colors in 2 sizes, but that's what I want to talk about.
Yes, this is what makes this different. You have 2 sizes. What is it, 3/8 and a half ounce?
No, a half ounce and 3/4. That one I was throwing yesterday was 3/4.
Okay, so I was
in 4 foot of water.
Yes. So you have 2 sizes, a bunch of colors. What if you can tell them? I know the answer already. Tell them why this is so much different. Why your lipless crankbait is so much different than everybody else.
And I truly believe, again, that we're not copying anybody, but let's just be honest. There's been a ton of lipless crankbaits over the years. But I think it's one of the best lure catchers for any season. Rock, weeds, you heard about ripping, all kinds of things. And my frustration with lipless crankbaits over the years is, 1, you lose a lot of fish on them because they just come up and grab and swipe. 2 is the way they work. If I wanted to buy a 1/4 ounce lipless crankbait, it'd be itty bitty. Then I buy a 3/4 and it's 4 times the size.
Yes.
So what I did, I created this lure. I sat down and really started thinking about, what do I want in a lipless crankbait? I've been fishing lipless crankbaits since I was 2 foot tall, you know, started fishing. I created this with Hawk, and mind you, the engineers did a lot with this. I just had a concept, and they put it to paper. I drew this up, actually with Hawk at the Bassmaster Classic last year in Alabama. What this is a half ounce silent one, and we make a 3/4 ounce rattling one. But if you look at these, you put the 2 next to each other, the 2 different sizes, they're exactly the same dimensions on the outside.
Yes.
And so what we've done, I want one that fishes shallow, more parallel, in shallow weeds. And you notice our shallow one is silent. Now, hardly anybody's making a silent one anymore. And I think fish get used to that sound. And you notice the shallower the fish are, the more spooky they are.
Yes.
Especially in the springtime. They're coming up for the first time. They're looking around. They're spooky. So I really wanted a silent bait just because nobody else is throwing it. And the second part of that is I want to fish more parallel. And then, so I created the 3/4 ounce because I fish Table Rock, Lake of the Ozarks, and I fish a lot of rocky bottom, deep. And you can fish a lipless crankbait anywhere in the water column. You can, so what?
You can rip it.
You can rip it. You can yo-yo it, as everybody calls it. But in the 3/4 ounce and the half ounce, I created something special, I think. In the end, I'll talk to you about. But 3/4 ounce is a rattling bait, and it fishes more traditional nose down. So that way you can bang on the rocks, do whatever. But not only we created such a unique lipless crankbait, exact same size from a half ounce to 3/4 ounce. Now, when you go and you look at them, you'll see a half ounce is an S, that's for silent, and 3/4 ounce is the rattling. Now, they call it the SGT, Sergeant, because the sergeant is very important in any military operation. That's what I look at.
Yeah.
And then also, what you'll notice is we have swiveling hook hangers.
Now, you want to hand that to me, and I'll do it.
If you can show that.
You can talk about it.
What we've created, we actually put bearings in swivels inside the bait. And that was the hardest thing we had to do, just keep it structurally sound and still strong enough when the fish hits it, it won't rip out. as you saw yesterday, it didn't rip out.
No.
They destroyed it. And so we did a little research on that. Again, like I talked about earlier, the first thing I hated about Lipless Crankbaits, I lost a lot of fish. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think we helped out with that a lot by having moving hook hangers.
Yeah, you won't lose as many fish because the fish can't get there.
And these, on top of that, I said, if a fish breathes on it, I want him hooked.
Yeah.
So we created our own hooks on these. Again, the great thing about Thunderhawk, and this little pro tip, if they want to call it that, is most people OEM and hire somebody else to make their stuff. Mm-hmm. The advantage we have at Thunderhawk is we manufacture. We actually build everything you see in our plants. We have 2 plants. And what we're able to do is keep the cost down by doing that. Because every time somebody touches something in the industry, they want a percentage of sales. So, and we also have the discretion of we don't have to wait so long. It's our engineers, our painters, our stuff. And if I want to build it, let's go. So with that, getting back, I digress a little bit because I want to talk more about this relationship. But this thing, I think, is going to. I've shown this all the way down here this week.
You had a lot of them in the car, and now you have one.
I'm trying to scramble for the rest of the week. Be honest with you.
I know you have, and I'm taking the one in the box.
Yeah, well, we might wrestle for that one. But the thing about this is this is relating to people.
Yeah,
this is a true deal.
Now, how much is that lure going to retail?
$9.99.
So you're looking at, you use that, get your fish on 30. You're getting it for $7. The swivels on I will say, yesterday we fished that really hard yesterday, ripping it through grass, and the swivels on the hooks are spectacular.
Well, you saw a couple of them yesterday that I hit.
They were
sideways in their mouth, and you saw it because a lot of times fish actually bite that way. But guys, they different places.
To be honest, you want to know what? Hold on.
When it did that, the hooks did not rip out on either side of the mouth. That was it. I told them, like I said, I just have 3 colors of these myself right now. We come out with 12 to fish any water column you want with them, anywhere in the country. Water clarity is what we design these things to do.
I'll put a little fish pick up.
These
there it is from yesterday. That's one of them. Can you see that? I know.
Yeah, I can see that.
That was I think that was our first fish, to be honest. But yeah, I have a video of one that's sideways in its mouth.
And one more thing, I want to talk about this. So, and there's unique characteristics. Like I said, we worked hard on this one. It took me several times to get it to where I just wanted to do it. Again, the biggest thing I wanted to see was I wanted different actions, different sounds, different weights, and the exact same dimensional bait.
Yeah.
But the very unique thing that we did on this, on top of all the unique characteristics, I truly believe you can take this out and fish it anywhere, any time of the year. And what we did with this is the hardest part we had to do with the 2 different sizes, is once this thing, you can let it fall down to the bottom of the lake, especially rocky banks in the spring, crawls, movement. You can actually use this thing as a jig. What I mean by that, it'll go nose down on the bottom. It's like sitting on a rock or a bed. It'll get down to the bottom, and it will not tip over. It'll sit tail up. So you can just imagine being on a bed.
Yeah.
A sandy bed. Coming down there, just making that little sound. And a half ounce will do it too.
Yeah.
So I'm very, very proud of this. And we have 12 colors coming out. Half ounce, 3/4 ounce. Probably available the first week of March.
I think I heard a door closed or a thing. Maybe we have a bunch of spinner baits being shown up today.
The Chief spinner baits.
The Chief spinner baits, which we didn't. Do we have? No, we don't even have one of those in here. We'll show those later. Next, let's talk about this one because I think I did a closer look of the slasher.
I need one of those.
Here, you can have the. Watch out for the hook. That's the one I used yesterday. What is this lure called?
The Thunder Belly.
Now, this is a soft plastic 1 ounce bait that swims, has a great tail, has a great swimming action, but there's something that you guys, and I mentioned this to you, that you guys are doing differently. One of the things I will be brutally honest about, you can see these are all closer, that's the closer look box
right.
of lures. So I hate when I start getting lures, and then the next thing I know is I have to go out and buy a special hook
Right.
for the bait that I'm already buying. So not only am I spending $10 on the lures, now I got to spend another $7 or $8 on hooks for that lure. That irritates me beyond belief. I know that I know that it would make costs go up and all that other stuff, but it's one of my pet peeves.
Well, it makes costs go up. You have to go buy other things.
Yeah, I mean, then I get to you want to be honest. Then I go to the store, and the next thing I know, not only do I come out with the hooks I need, I got 7 other things that I didn't expect to buy. You guys are doing this differently with this new bait. Tell us about this bait, and tell us about why you're giving us a hook with it that matches perfectly.
This is also a collaboration with Jerry.
Okay.
This is a 5-inch swim bait. The bait itself, the plastic portion of it, weighs 1 ounce.
Yeah.
What he designed this thing, it is phenomenal in the water. Like everything else, I'm going to want to probably say that word phenomenal a lot, but that's what I feel about all of our products. We don't put anything out there in the last couple of years that we don't like. But Jerry designed this thing to fish like a traditional hollow body. You know, that was a big craze there for a long, or big craze again, talking about that. A lot of tournaments were won a few years back on hollow bodies. Mm-hmm. Nobody talked about them.
Yes.
And then so a lot of them went away, and then you couldn't find them, and then everybody bought up. There's a lot of stories about that. It goes on and on. So Jerry designed this thing to fish kind of like a hollow body, but it's actually a solid swim bait. We created a hook slot in there, and as you said, you get 2 of these in a package, plus the custom fitted hook, weighted hook that has a 1/4 ounce weight in the package. There's no question, fitting up, and you've seen the price of some of these hooks.
Yeah.
You buy a package of 3 I've seen them upwards of $10.
$8.99.
Yeah. So, like everything else, you went back to the Sergeant. We try to create something. You can go buy one of our products and fish it right out of the box. And that's no lie. How many times, like a Lipless Crankbait, how many people switch out their nomenclature? I call that all the time. The components, the split rings, the hooks. Then you're into a lipless crankbait for $20.
Yeah.
I've seen hooks cost more than the dang bait.
So
There's no reason for it. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
There's no reason for it.
It's one of the great things you guys are doing. This bait alone, this is a great bait. It swims well. I'll do a closer look on it. You'll notice right off the bat, it's a bigger bait, and bigger baits catch bigger fish, but it swims really well. It has a little wobble to it. But the tail alone is just, that's a huge tail.
And you'll see the durability of these. Like a lot of them, don't be afraid just to store these in a regular box. Don't get it too hard. But look, it just comes, it's perfect.
Yeah. Thank you, Butch, by the way. How many colors do these come in?
These come in, I think we have 12 of those as well. I may be wrong, but I think there's 12
putting those back
as well.
there. I put them back in your thing. Okay, next. We've talked about the slash. I did a closer look on it, but the slash is 2 sizes. Tell me a little bit about the thought process about building this suspending jerkbait.
I'll hand you one of them. You can do that. We have 2 sizes.
Thank you for taking the hooks out.
Yeah, I've learned over time.
Yeah, I think I got stuck a couple times the other day.
The 100. We have a slash 100, weighs about a 1/2 ounce, 5/8 ounce. We also have a smaller version that's an 80 millimeter long, but unique to ours. And this is not. Some other people have done this before as well, but we've created a magnetic weight transfer system.
Yeah, you might be able to see it in there. I think. Oh yeah, you can see it right there. That is the magnetic weight transfer system, and it goes back.
And it's not. It works properly when it doesn't go down on its own.
Yes, you can't make it go like this. You have to cast it, and when you cast it, hold on, it goes to the back,
and then slightly turn it head forward.
Yeah,
you'll go back to its original place.
Yeah, as soon as you get there, then
it creates action.
Yes.
So that Hawk came up with that design himself. We got several colors in these slash baits. And what we've noticed, you'll see on the packaging that now we're starting to put. Everybody tries to say, what depth on the package, but we've noticed, Minnesota water compared to Florida water in May is totally different water temperature. So the variables are the line diameter and how warm the water or how cold it is. So this thing, we've done it, and it's a slow sinker. This is so balanced, though, in our research. This is so balanced, it will actually, and I challenge people to do this at home, it'll slowly fall on its own hooks and not tip over.
Yeah.
That's a balance.
And it kind of does this on the way down too.
Just a little bit of shimmy.
A little shimmy.
You know, and so we designed this, and this is Hawk's baby right here. Even the little one has a weight transfer system. As you know, it's hard to throw with traditional bait casters, some smaller jerk baits, or these, even matter of fact, in the wind are tough. But that weight transfer system increases your casting difference a lot. So it'll come down. It'll go about 5 in the colder water. We're seeing about 5 foot on its own and stop, and then we'll get an additional 3 foot on a retrieve. So there's several ways you can fish this. Don't just think a pop jerk. And people, there's been a lot of talk about that lately. You know, in years past, people just thought this was a springtime cold water bait.
Yeah, it's anytime bait.
Up north, especially.
Yeah,
this is all year.
I've been finding myself, I like to run it, reel it in, and then pause.
Yep.
And then that pause will make it just stay there for a millisecond, and then I start darting it back. When I do that, that's usually on the, and I've said this before, on the down, it's gonna get it. That's when it gets annihilated. And the hooks are real sharp on it. They got treble hooks in 3 spots. On the larger one, I think it's 2 on the smaller.
2 on the smaller one, yeah.
And you'll notice it's just a great bait to throw. And of course, how much is this bait?
$8.99.
So you use that, get your fish on 30, and now you're even, oh my gosh, you're saving them a ton of money.
You're below $6.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's really ridiculous.
If you look at some other jerk baits, you're up there.
I got dog hair on my damn microphone thing, and it keeps bugging my nose. Okay, I'm going to put this right in there, even though that isn't the right spot. Sorry.
No worries.
Next, what's our next lure? Oh, why don't we talk about that burner brim?
That burner brim, that's what got all this started with Get Your Fish On. This is our burner brim. Again, another collaboration with Jerry. Soft.
Durable.
Bluegill swim bait.
That looks like a smaller size than the one that I got.
And that's the same size.
Is it?
Exact same size.
I got them somewhere.
We have several colors in these, and we've made the different coloring to match the hatch, if you will.
Yeah.
But we also have one in white, so go figure.
Yeah. How long does it take to paint something like that, just out of curiosity?
I think there's at least 8 different coats of paint on here.
So is it a process that someone has to hand do, or how does it work?
You can't. I'm trying to describe it.
I mean, do they like?
It is a process. These are actually plastic baits that we use that are actually painted, like you said, but it's a several process deal. A person has to touch it each time it goes in and gets painted.
Yeah.
Each layer.
Yeah. It's not like they just go and it's done.
If you find that the paint machine that does several layers and different colors the same, let me know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do it all one shot, we can make a fortune.
Yeah. That is a Get Your Fish On idea, by the way. We're patenting that right now.
Yeah. But you can, your video was great describing this thing, and this even weighs 2 ounces. And it's got a gaff on it, a gaff of a hook. But we've also made that where you can put a treble on the bottom.
Or you want to know what's even better? I'm going to give away a secret that I don't like sharing. Put it under spin on it.
That's your secret.
Yeah. Because then you get a little flash with it too.
Right.
You get the action of the bait that's getting the great tail and the thumping of the tail, but you got that flash underneath, and that flash that helps attract fish.
These things. I have got, when I first brought these to a show in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, a year or two, before COVID, sold them out everywhere we went before COVID. Every show we sold out of everything. Got a feedback 2 days later from a kid that was fishing out there in Pennsylvania, caught 2 monster muskies on one of these. Oh. Monsters. And so I started fishing it up North Country too. Yeah. The predators love these things. It looks just like a blue, and again, we would talk about the very beginning of this, not just sell to fishermen, but sell to fish. Yeah. And this has the right mechanics to it.
Yeah. Again, I want to just say this is Chief Dove. You can go to thunderhawklures.com. Put the code up. The code is there. I can see the code up. If you want to use the code, you can.
That bait is $10 with the code to get it for $7.
Yeah, I mean, that's ridiculous. Yeah, and that's ridiculous.
We have all the colors up, ready to go right now.
Yeah, there are some of them that aren't up yet. That will be up fairly soon. So you just got to check back, and they'll keep the code up.
I'll keep the code up till a couple weeks after for your code. That is for this podcast. I'll keep that up for a couple weeks after we get our new products going.
Yeah.
And
because they've got spinner baits that are coming out. Can we talk about the spinner
yeah,
baits?
yeah.
Now,
That's on the website.
Oh, it is? Okay.
That's
the
on the
spinner
website.
baits are drastically different than any spinner bait you're going to see on the market. And I'm not joking. It's not about the blades. The blades are great. It's about the skirt itself. I think we've come to the realization, or the industry is now just using silicone skirts for everything. You guys do not use a silicone skirt. Tell everybody what kind of skirt you guys use.
We use a tinsel skirt.
Yes.
It's our tinsel. That I've been a spinnerbait fishing ever since I started fishing. And my buddy an older gentleman that taught me how to use a spinnerbait, his name was Big Daddy. He's from Arkansas, my best friend's dad. And he showed me, we went to Canada trips a lot. And he showed me the difference in having tinsel tied up on a spinnerbait in that brackish looking tannic water.
Yeah, like what we fish.
Or clear water. And I was blown away by it.
Yes.
And then he showed me how to hand tie this tinsel on it. And what I noticed is just fish reacted totally different to it. And like anything else, the more pressure you get on a fish, on a lake, or they've seen a lure 100 times, they're less likely to hit it. And now, especially because what we're seeing now, when people are on the lake right now,
yeah.
I started tying this thing 30 years ago. But nobody can ever duplicate it. I saw about 30 years ago, there was a small company in Minneapolis that had just silver tinsel on their smaller spinner baits, and we wrecked them with that up north when I was a kid. So I got with Hawk and said, hey, I got this idea. Let's build a spinner bait that nobody else is doing.
Yeah.
It's called the Chief spinner bait.
What sizes do they come
It's just one size for now.
Yep.
Just come out. It's a ½ ounce. I think that's the number one overall size, if you will, that people like and use, is a ½ ounce.
Yeah.
And it reacts good to that tinsel too.
It stands up really well in the water, but the tinsel is really the biggest thing that you see, the biggest difference about this lure. I think the best way to put it is silicone skirts kind of make their way and they compact to where the hook is. I guess that's the best way. The tinsel does not.
No, and I like to call it secondary action. That you have the blades turning, and you have the vibration, and you actually have the profile of the bait going by them. But then that tinsel adds another action to it, where it creates its own movement. I showed you one yesterday where even out of the water, you pull it down and open it up, and the tinsel just expands.
Yes, it does.
So magnify that underwater, it breathes like a fish does. It changes, and it just creates a reaction sometimes that a fish just haven't seen before. And like I said, clear water where it really goes crazy. But we made stuff for dirty water. I have red tinsel, all solid black with black blades, a lot of different colors, and the bluegill color I showed you yesterday with a lot of purple in it for down here.
Well, you have 3 different blades to them, don't you?
Yeah, we're going to have
a double willow,
double Colorado, and a tandem, a Colorado and willow leaf on it. And all are ½ ounce. We put a 5/0 hook that is just nasty, wicked sharp, as you saw yesterday.
Yeah, I got hooked. We probably got hooked 20 times yesterday.
But as we were talking about before, if you find a machine to paint, you need to find a machine, because these are all hand tied, because we've not figured out a way to make a skirt and tinsel that doesn't move without having to hand tie it. So every one of these has a hand tied skirt on it.
You can go to thunderhawklures.com and check that out. I will say, when you look at this spinner bait, you're not going to believe the bulkiness of the tinsel. It is a lot. I think there's more tinsel on that than most Christmas trees and during Christmas. It is a bulky, giant group of tinsel. And really, when you put it in the water, it's really where you see the biggest thing about it. It just it almost pulsates, and it's going to be fun to throw for sure.
It's coming spinnerbait season.
Yeah,
spinnerbaits.
Now you can put a trailer on it. You can do all sorts of stuff, but
that thunderbelly looks good behind it too.
Yeah, that's a big bait. Then that's a really big.
It becomes a big bait.
Yeah. Okay, so we talked about that. What is next? What do we have over there that we haven't talked about?
The camel craws.
I'm in the process of doing a closer look on this, so you're going to spoil this, but that's all right.
The camel craws, it's our version of a crawl bait, slash a creature bait anymore. There's so many norms in the industry what things are called, but ours are unique. They have a lot of vibration on the claws. You see the bottom of it. You can also put on a jig, a swim jig. That thing skips real well because we made it flat on the bottom, but it has appendages all over it where it grabs water and it keeps scent. Those things sell for less than $5. And we have several colors. Those things too. I was really surprised, to be honest with you. I brought them down here to a local tackle store, and I don't have many left.
I know.
It's like everything else I brought.
He brought all this lure that he brought. He had said, I got tons of stuff. Not like you're not giving me tons of stuff, but you're like, you wait till you see all the stuff I got for you. And then you hit like two local shops and you're like, oh, they want all of them. I'm like, oh, that's all right, man.
I need my stuff back.
Well, we were talking about, we were going to fight over that. We only had 3 of those. You brought
I brought 120 of these when I left Indiana.
Yeah, and we have 3. You had 3.
I have 3
and
left.
That's the only one in the box.
Yeah, that's the only one left in the box. And I took orders for another, I think, 300 more.
Yeah.
Since I've been down here. And I've only been down here when I get here Sunday night.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So, and we fished at both mornings.
Yeah. Been busy.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to see that you're doing that. Do we have any other lures? I know you have those little.
Yeah, I think these are one of our sleeper baits that not too many people talk about. We have 2 sizes. It's called the hybrid diver.
Yes.
Again, we want to make it to where you can fish right out of the package. These are little swim baits. We got them in 2 sizes. One is 3/8, one is 3/4. You'll see the weight, the size, the difference itself. But we actually put 2 custom to fit each one of the baits jig heads already in the package and ready to go. And you have a third one in case you tear one up. And these things come in several colors, but you'll notice that they're heavier for the size. That we really think, especially fishing deep water. A lot of these originally came out. Guys they were really good on walleyes.
Yeah.
But I've noticed I started fishing these up in Minnesota in the summertime. We're just wrecking them in deep weed lines.
Yeah.
With it, just popping them and pulling. But we also designed the heads, they're the heavier, so it stays on the bottom. Like say you fish a Lake of the Ozarks or Table Rock or a Highland Reservoir. The banks drop off 30 feet, 2 lengths, so that it'll stay down there. These things, and they're super, super sharp hooks.
And how much are these? How much do these cost?
These are less than $5 on the website.
Yeah, that's almost ridiculous. They got great action in the tail,
and they're meant to fish a little faster.
Yeah,
you can hook a regular swim baits and stuff to fish slower than that. Everybody for years thought you had to creep a spin bait.
Yeah,
spinner bait. We're finding out speed kills on most of our stuff. You can fish, and that's one thing. What Larry Dahlberg told me years ago, he's a world-known lure manufacturer or maker, designer. I don't want to get that wrong. Organic and synthetic.
Yeah.
That he's made for a lot of companies that's not been out disclosed.
Yeah.
And the big thing he told me was it's got to do 3 things. He makes the lure design majority of the time so you can cast as far as you possibly can. That's the big thing. You got to get it out there. Mm-hmm. One is got to be able to trigger a fish, and you got to land a fish.
Yeah.
It's like when Lefty Cray, I was friends with Lefty Cray before he passed.
Yeah.
He told me the same thing. It's not as complicated as everybody makes it, but it's got to work.
If you don't know who Lefty Cray is the godfather of fly fishing. He is, I have some of his reels on that up there that he signed in an auction on the second shelf. You probably can't see him. That were his spinning rods, his bait casters.
I was fortunate when I was with Temple Fork Outfitters doing stuff with them. Great company. Mm-hmm. I was introduced to a lot of great people. Lefty and Gary Loomis at the time. Larry Dahlberg. I knew Larry before, but it was awesome being a nobody like me to have that kind of knowledge passed down.
You could never say anything bad about Lefty Cray. There's nothing you could say bad about him. He was always out there teaching people, respecting the fish, respecting the fishery, and just was one of the greatest people.
I think there
on
needs
the
to be
face of the earth.
another book come out about Lefty, well, not just the technical side of things, but the person side of things. Lefty, I know him for a very short amount of time. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a lifelong friend. But I did have dinner with him, and I was assigned. They asked me to go get him in the airport. I think it was down here 1 year at ICAST. Matter of fact, when we work in ICAST, and I had to pick him up at the airport and bring him back, and that was a hoot. I cannot believe how many people recognized that man.
So there's a story on one of the old Fishing Florida radio things when we interviewed him. We had him on the show, and he gave us, I forgot the name of the disease, not the disease. Oh my gosh, what is it? He was one of like 3 people that survived it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know it right off the top of my head. I feel stupid that I don't remember it. One of the best stories. I'll try to find that. But you can go on. You probably can still go on iTunes and just look up Fishing Florida Radio, Lefty Cray, and you'll hear the story. Great, one of the great dudes. May rest in peace. I mean, one of the best guys in the whole world.
Just you would not believe, again, the things that I know about him and what in non-disclosures that I can't even talk about.
Yeah.
That how left, not just in the fly industry, but how much he had his footprint in his hands and everything, even bass tournaments we're doing right now.
Yeah. Just an amazing
everything he had his hands in, and people saw his wisdom over time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, he had a relationship with Ray Scott.
Yeah.
And so that, a lot of stuff, like I'd never take that for granted. Nobody for like me to interview and take the time to talk to me the way he did, and over dinner, and he just always made you feel special.
Yeah.
And then Larry, my buddy Larry Dahlberg, I'm not throwing names out there like guys do, but I think like my relationship with Larry Dahlberg, that is another genuine person in this industry that I think we need more of that in this industry.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Take people under your wing and just. I was just a dumb redneck from Indianapolis, a police officer that these guys are giving me knowledge in and their experience, and I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
So I am trying everything I can through the Hero Getaway, Thunderhawk, some other things I'm working on to not just get people fishing, but get them stuff in their hands that works.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to sell my soul. I'm too old.
Yeah.
I've been through too many things, life's experience.
I say that same thing. I'm not doing something. I could very easily do something clickbaitish on YouTube and get thousands of followers.
And Hawk and
I'm not doing it.
Hawk and I talked a lot about that because people, and I don't like to get into that if they don't mind. The big thing is I would like everybody watching that. People talk about this a lot now, the whole China relationship and Chinese manufacturing and this, that, and the other. The true thing we have with Thunderhawk is Hawk. And if you don't know, if you have things manufactured overseas, and I like to see the percentage, how many companies actually have to go to China for at least one part, that we know what's going on in that factory. There's a lot of other things that you just get what you get type mentality over there. But let's face it, there's a reason there's not a single reel company, bait casting reel, made in this country. Not one.
I know.
And it's sad. Well, Hawk and I have talked about it quite a bit. And so what we have is, our stuff, just full disclosure, our stuff's made in China, but it's our plant.
Yeah, and he's there.
And he is there. It's not, we're not talking to somebody else
and
bringing it down to put this. It is Hawk's hand on everything we do. Like I said, we make for over 20 companies right now.
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't be afraid of that. Do your research. You can take my word or take somebody else's word. Not just where it's made, but who makes it.
Yeah.
Because there's companies now that are claiming that they're American made and are not.
Yeah.
And that is, you talk about, I just heard of one, I won't even say what they do in the fishing industry. There's one company in the fishing industry I just heard through the grapevine got federal sanctions of $500,000 claiming they were American made. So there's a lot to that, but don't be there's so-called Japanese made companies, there's American made companies. I think you just have to sit down and look at what it is itself and just take it for yourself. Is it good or is it not?
I mean, you guys are making a quality product, and you're making it at a reasonable, really good price, and that's really what's going to make Thunderhawk Lures grow. I mean, you've got great lures. There's even stuff that we can't show today. There's new lures that are going to be coming out continually. How many lures are on the works right now? Just out of curiosity, I saw one yesterday.
5.
So that are going to come out, all reasonably priced. They're doing the research, doing the development, trying to get it all.
If you're a shallow water cranking, you're going to be excited come March.
There you go.
Or top water bait, or we're plastics. I can't get into too much of that. The makeup of the plastic that we're working on. If we be able to make the lures we want with this type of plastic, it may change things.
Awesome. Okay, I want everybody. We're going to wrap this up because we have a lunch meeting in a little bit, and we still I have to clean up.
Well, I want to say I appreciate you inviting me down.
Oh, no problem.
And get your fish on. The whole idea of taking a kid fishing, but I just want to pass to everybody that we don't give out this code to podcasts and stuff. Just what we thought of you and what you did. Full disclosure, again, that was not prompted. The very first video you did about Thunderhawk, we really do appreciate it. But everybody, if they could, go to thunderhawklures.com, put in a code, get your fish on 30. This stuff, and stay tuned. I'm not kidding. The first week of March, the Sergeant will be available. A lot of the stuff's already there right now. The new Chief spinnerbait's on there. The color's going to blow you away. And just give it a try. And free shipping on a certain amount. I don't remember what that is. But check it out and let you know that, and we're employing, we are keeping employees busy. The busier we are, and that's Hawk's things. I'm not greedy.
Yeah.
I just want to keep things going and keep the jobs that we got and create more job opportunities. But it's a great product, and I stand behind it, and that's not taken lightly.
I should mention, Boudreaux just said, Lefty survived anthrax.
Yep.
And his story about that is ridiculous. He was one of 3 people that his immune system was actually used, or whatever, his blood or whatever, to make the anthrax vaccination.
It was he lived a humble life, but there were stories about him going down after a hurricane years ago. Flip.
Yeah.
They're down here.
Yeah.
And what he did after that hurricane. And he lived a very humble life. You've seen his house and seen everything else, but that man took care of his friends.
It's funny. I think I might have mentioned this story. He had a book come out and about top 100 fish or something, 100 fish of something, and we were friends. We were acquaintances, and when we saw each other, it was a hug, and how you.
And I would say that he made you feel like your friend.
But other than busting my ass every time he saw me,
I can tell you off.
Man always had a smart ass comment
off camera about how he got his nickname and what he ordered at dinner, and you better had that right at dinner time too.
And I remember I actually ordered 2 books, and I said, hey, I'm sending you a book. Mm-hmm. Could you sign it? And I'm sending you 2 books. Could you sign it? Because I was going to give one away, and then I'm sending you another one for Thomas. I want you, if you could write something for Thomas. And what he wrote to my son was it almost made me cry. And then unfortunately, the one that he wrote for that I was going to give away has a whole bunch of things that he and I had talked about. And so I was like, oh, I can't give this away to somebody because it's all personal stuff that he and I had talked about.
Right.
So I ended up not giving them away. I have both of them, but
and I think that, again, I'm just a nobody in the whole scheme of things. But I'll give a shout out to Rick Pope.
Yeah.
Of Temple Fork Outfitters, the founder of Temple Fork. He is the one that introduced me to all these people that he brought in at the time. And what that guy did with the company, Rod Company, I don't even work for him anymore. I'm even a competitor of theirs now.
Yeah.
But I learned so much from Rick, the founder of TFO, on how things work in this industry. And he told me the biggest thing that he believes in still today, very successful company, been there, I think they just celebrated their close to 25 years.
Uh-huh.
The biggest thing he told me was build relationships in this industry.
Yeah.
And do what you say you're going to do.
Yeah. Well, again, I appreciate you coming down. Thank you. I know we'll have some spinnerbaits. We'll have some more closer looks of the Thunderhawk Lures. You can go to thunderhawklures.com. Use that code. Get your fish on. It's get your fish on 30 and save 30%. In all honesty, if you ever remotely thought about trying a glide bait, now you're going to get a glide bait for like $11 or something ridiculous. Maybe $11.50. I don't even know what it is. That is, or let's just say $12. You're going to get that glide bait for $12. You will not be disappointed. You will not. And like in in all the lures I've used, the burner brim, the lipless crankbait, which isn't there yet, the slash. This is really a gift to y'all who watch and participate. So go over there.
That sergeant is coming soon. If you don't like, I'm putting my stamp on that sergeant. I can tell you that.
Yeah. Go to their social media websites. They're on Facebook. Are you on Instagram?
Yeah. If Thunderhawk is also on Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff.
Comment below on what you think, and thanks. Thank you for watching. There's more closer looks coming up. I should mention that. You can see the box of this is the box. There's a few lures in that box.
And if we do. Because of this too, I'm going to work on when I get all the new products in the summer. I'm coming back down to iCast.
Yes.
This summer.
I'll tell you what's going to go on. Well,
go ahead.
No.
Well, I'll be at iCast. Yes. I'm not going to disclose what you're doing, but I'll be at iCast with our staff, and all of our new products will be displayed down there. I know that it's not open to the public generally, but I will bring some stuff down if you want. You can to give away Thunderhawk product and iCast for your listeners.
I appreciate that. Well, it's going to be great. Again, go to their social media stuff. Check out all their stuff. Use that code. Get your fish on 30 and get your fish on. So, guys, I appreciate everybody. Remember, take a kid fishing. Get your fish on. We will see you soon. Cheers, guys. Now I got to figure out how to close this out. It's on the wrong screen.